Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. Some names I recognize here. For those that don't know me, my name is Alex. My current title at the company is product engineer, but for a lot of the years, you've known me as the CTS guy. So that's what we're here to talk about today, is CTS as a service. So I'll start introducing the product as we call it. I did intentionally call it CTS as a service. It's something new that we're formally offering. And basically the purpose of this is to just completely take CTS off your hands. As some of you guys know, we've been dealing with this problem for close to over 4 years now. Myself personally have been doing this monthly for over 50 customers for up to 4 years now. It is a problem that we're quite familiar with at the company, and I think over the years we've gotten very good at solving it. And so, CTS as a service is something that we are here to offer to literally completely take CTS off your hands. And today I'm just going to walk through what that entails, and then there'll be a little bit of questions at the end, and we can take it from there. As I said, we've been doing this for a while, and it basically just started. It started with just helping people out here and there, doing some custom report auditing and whatnot. And over the years, it's turned into a full-blown offering. We now serve over 50 or so customers. Here in front of you is basically what the product looks like at the moment as it's evolved over the years. We've never had a magical one-click button, as some people like to offer. We've always been one step removed, driven by the data from the software, but not delivering something that you could necessarily directly upload to Health Canada or otherwise. So it always delivered a report that kind of looks similar to what I'm going to present here today. But this is the latest iteration. For anyone that's worked with it before, it will be familiar because it is essentially a clone of the template that Health Canada provides for you to fill in numbers and play around with. How do we go about, how does this service work? Well, when the month is over, so, like it happened, the first just rolled around about 5 days ago. And you're finished with your activities. You're ready with data input to your facility, and you're ready to start reporting. You essentially put in a request for us. Some of you already do. We have a ticketing system. We do have a queuing system. It is first come, first serve at the moment. You essentially send out a message to us through the help desk, and you announce, hey, we're done our month. We are ready for our report. And then we start cranking on it, and then we deliver what you see in front of you here. We deliver a compiled report to you. The report itself is driven by the comprehensive report that comes out of Elevated Signals. For those of you not familiar with it, it is this report that you can find under our reporting section. And it has a couple of neat features that it has quite a lot of data that you can work with, and quite a lot of data normalization features. So your formulas are always working in the right units. Using this data from your facility, we then start auditing it, quite literally auditing it. There's various routines that we have that we put together. We've learned over the years what to look for, the kind of mistakes that people do. We also generally are quite familiar and intimate with your onboarding process. We most likely, some of us were even there when we implemented that. So we know exactly what's going on in your facility and how it's supposed to be going on. And that allows us to interpret this massive set of data that is your last month of activities and essentially map it out in a couple of neat little rules that should follow and should be essentially the textbook, the template for what your processes should look like and how they should report. This allows us to very easily grab the comprehensive report and then generate this for you. Now, this, you might say, looks very easy. Well, it is after all the issues and discrepancies have been resolved. And that's where a lot of our expertise comes into play. And that's where the service part of this really comes into play. Maybe to get to this state for this particular customer, they might have been quite a few iterations back and forth. discrepancies found and reported to the customer, operational mistakes identified, even things that the customer itself might not have picked up on. We circle back on this feedback at the moment via email. If there are issues at your facility, you will receive a confirmation that your report has been completed. And alongside that, you will receive a quite comprehensive list of issues that may have happened, issues that we found, things that we may think are issues and we're looking for confirmation on, and so on and so forth. This feedback process continues. You fix the entries, and then we'll do the work again and zero it out. And if there's more issues, we'll follow up, you fix the issues, and we'll sort it out. Yeah, so it is, again, to that point, it is very much a service, is that we offer all that extra audit overhead and feedback that doesn't necessarily come with just the one-click report. Now, that's what it looks like right now. This is improving, and a lot of these techniques and features or little routines or little feedback that I've just highlighted that we do for you, we've actually turned that into a proper usable dashboard that we're almost ready to share with our customers. Not quite yet. We're hoping that by Q2 this will be available as part of the service. For now, a lot of this is presented in one way or another as part of our reports. But what you'll see here is all the different kind of audit techniques that we perform on your inventory, on your transactions, that make reconciling that report easy. Things like your product catalog setup. Do you have all your units in check? It looks like this particular customer here is missing some gram equivalencies for some of these products. This is going to make it very hard to interpret some data when you're looking at the unpackaged side of the CTS or the mass operations. Same goes for inventory categories. At the moment, our process, for simplicity's sake, and because itself is just anchored around certain categories, it is quite important that your product catalog is marked correctly. Products and categories are correct. Products are correctly categorized, and so on. This makes that compilation easily, and if not, it makes these mistakes stand out. Another thing that's quite important for us when we do these reports, maybe not so much for some of the operational users that we have, but in the way we operate this service, is the dates. Physical dates that you put on things, audit dates, closing dates for activities. This is how we know. It enables us to be able to say that this activity has closed or this activity is still in progress, and it allows us to interpret the different facets of those operations. So to that effect, sometimes you will have seen feedback from us regarding work orders that are in progress on the way into the month, maybe on the way out of the month, maybe work that's just stale, closed incorrectly, work orders that are sitting there with some dates that don't necessarily reflect the reality, but they may this may unnecessarily bring them into the reporting period or into data related to some reporting period. Another thing that we look at to help us categorize the transactions is work order patterns. How you operate, what your work orders look like, the types of inputs and outputs that go in, and this, sometimes we're able to identify mistakes by noticing that, hey, this is the first time that this operation has showed up this month. That looks like this. Maybe it's a mistake, maybe it's completely valid, it's just a brand new activity. These kinds of audits also allow us to, at a very high level, identify if there's any immediate issues with the way that products are distributed in work orders. Again, knowing or having enough expertise now over the years to understand what some of these activities are physically and what they should do and how they should report. We do a heavy audit of processing losses. You may do yourself. I know for a lot of you processors and manufacturers, it's quite important. But we also look at that and we flag it when we notice it. Again, things may stand out for us if they seem unnatural or not in concordance with what standards are, what usual operating patterns may indicate. So we'll give summaries for work orders that roll up. One other component that I'll review is also the opening and closing inventories. We heavily scrutinize those as well, because sometimes You like to backdate our customers. Not everyone is perfect. You do like to go back and fix. So to that effect, we will always review that the closing inventories match new opening inventories and so on. Provide breakdowns of various reports by products, and even things like running total distribution charts. Also to that effect, noting about backdating. If there is backdating, we do have mechanisms that are able to identify to the user exactly which inventory has been affected. You know, in this report here, it's telling me that when I finished last month, these guys were there. They're no longer there. This indicates to me that maybe somebody backdated some actions, which now made the data in the system no longer match the data that you're reporting against. So yeah, that's a little teaser of this kind of analytic dashboard that we've put together. It is really materializations of all the different techniques, tips and tricks that we've accumulated over the years. Not just myself, but other colleagues that deal with this regulatory issue and reporting issue on our side. And again, private at the moment. We are just using this internally to aid in our process and for our service. But this should be available shortly. Right. I think that pretty much covers the service. Yeah, I'll just reiterate real quickly. So we are calling it CTS as a service. It is not a magical one-click button. It is a full service. Personally, I am developing this product. There is another one of my colleagues, Elaine, that you may have seen recently. She also helps in producing these reports. It is a kind of request type system. We don't automatically compile any report yet, just due to the overhead of things possibly changing and us having to circle back. So we do. The model at the moment is you put in the request when you're done, we compile, and then we have a feedback loop if needed to answer or resolve any discrepancies. The product, as it looks at the moment, you get a workbook delivered that contains all of the different aggregate pivots that are necessary to produce your report, alongside with any kind of comments that come from our audit. And it includes FaceTime with myself for resolving any of these issues if simply communicating via email or text is not sufficient. We do have a pretty decent turnaround time, not perfect. We are improving, getting faster every time, but generally we will always deliver before the 15th. Again, due to our increasing volume, it has been a queue system recently, first come, first serve. We do understand that there are producers who may finish getting caught up quite late into the reporting period, which is fine. There's no late penalties or anything like that. And if required, we have continued to work on delivering this even way past the 15th deadline, or for the 30th submission for the CRA. Another component that was kind of glossed over here, we can and do support milligrams per gram. So we do handle that component if you have. Sorry, I don't have it here. We do handle milligrams per gram if you do track that in your data. If you do have any questions or want some tutorials about how to start tracking milligrams per gram at the lot level, so to make this B300 reporting easier, happy to entertain that as well. And going forward, we're continuously going to improve this. A lot of what I've just talked about will be offered as a dashboard, inclusive of the service. As some of you know, and I've heard, some of our upcoming accounting and costing modules will take over the workbook itself and turn it into another in-software feature. So we'll no longer have to dealing with sharing spreadsheets around. Yeah, I think that concludes my TED Talk without dragging it any further. Happy to entertain any questions. Yeah, thank you very much.